Yo, yo, yo. How you
Yo,
guys like
yo.
how you like my new mic? We run some COD later?
Yeah, it's like we're playing video games.
Hold on, I gotta mute. Hold on. I gotta change this. All right, I think we're good now. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear Carmine? Let us know.
What's up? Good morning. Good morning.
I'll wait for some responses. Please don't skip US 30 today. All right, you want to see the Dow Jones?
The Dow Jones, sometimes I look at that chart and that thing has some good opportunities that
We talk about that all the time.
yeah, it's like a low-key sleeper that there's good setups. I feel like not a lot of people just watch it.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's always like perfect levels, perfect holds.
Yeah.
It's nice. AV all good. All right, appreciate that discomfort. Yeah, I have to use these fancy headphones today because you're gonna hear a bunch of
Don't let him fool you. He's got Call of Duty on his other monitor. He's
yeah.
gonna be playing COD when he's trading.
You know what? I actually been playing Mario Kart more than anything else. I love it. If any of you guys play Mario Kart, man, maybe we set up a little server and do some competitions. The new Mario Kart on Switch 2 is very fun. All right, so good morning, guys. Welcome. Uh, been trying to get Carmine on a live stream remotely for quite some time, so I'm happy to have him on, and hopefully something we can do more in the future. Just get some insights from him and get see how our game plans match up, right? Like comparing his levels to ours and seeing where his opportunity maybe aligns. So it's exciting. We're just gonna jump right into it today. I don't want to do the whole fancy whiteboard BS, but make sure to record your attendance in the description below. So we have a giveaway later today. Um, make sure to do that. Carmine just woke up. So you just woke up, Carmine?
No,
No, no.
maybe.
Carmine's been up. We've been preparing for this. Um,
Yeah, me and Vince were basically talking about how the heck we're gonna trade all-time highs today.
yeah, yeah. It's a little bit of an interesting day to come on together, but we'll try to put together a good plan. So, Carmine, anything you want to say before we start?
No, I mean, just regardless of what we talk about, what we go over, the levels, the plans, have your own plan and always follow your plan. Like, always be able to act like me or Vince are sitting next to you when you're trading and give us a solid reason why you're entering and why you're exiting with solid bullet points, solid thesis. That way it's keeping you on your toes to only take setups and trades that, are based off your playbook and based off your edge and based off your system. There's so many traders that I see just blindly enter and exit just because they have a level marked on their charts.
Yeah,
Yes, trust the levels, but have a solid plan around the levels and it will guide you in the right direction.
awesome. Agreed. Um, what's going on with yeah, Broadcom major earnings, but they also had some kind of big investment, $10 billion or something. So that's interesting. I'm not sure who. I think it was like a secret. They didn't say who it was, but I'm sure it was some big customer. That will
Yeah.
be interesting. I was sort of thinking whether it was Tesla, but who the hell knows? All right, so today we have some data to start. So 8:30, in about 22 minutes, it will be interesting. Um, fit in your window with the charts. Uh,
Yeah, this data at 8:30 is definitely going to set the tone, I think, for the day. It's going to either make or break what's going to happen, and it's going to make or break the levels.
yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see what happens at 8:30 because I feel like for me specifically, and I know I was just talking with you, Vince, about it. What this data does is really going to dictate how we trade this market today.
Yeah, definitely. We get, I mean, we'll go over it on the charts, but pullback longs is always going to be what I look for on a market like this, and looking for what that level is below to find where the buyers step up again. And then, Carmine was looking at where maybe there would be a short. So the question is, do you short the retracement or do you just allow it to retrace and then look for the pullback long? I think we both agree that a pullback will result in a long opportunity, but The question is, do you want to trade the pullback or do you just want to allow it to move lower? So
Exactly.
that's going to be an interesting thing to watch today. So we'll start with let's start with I'll start with my ES levels. We'll get into Carmine's, and then we'll move forward on maybe some NASDAQ and some individual equities because I know Carmine's going to be the master of the ES. So let's start where we can sort of compare and contrast the two different thought processes on the S&P today. So going out to the S&P 500, right? We can see here all-time highs, definitely a big move yesterday. And really, what we talked about in our live stream yesterday was the pullback long at 64.60 and the ability to hold over the daily 20. And that really was I mean, it was nuts. I mean, that was the opportunity yesterday. So going to this 15-minute chart, we can see Friday's lows, really nice. That Monday futures low. Then we have Wednesday's highs here at 64.60. And yesterday it was just an incredible, perfect, morning pullback back to 64.60, holding that daily 20 and just a melt higher all day. And now, Carmen, I don't know if you find difficulty trading those melts higher, but for me, it's either you had to be long off the daily 20 and 64.60, or possibly be long on like the ORB break, which is, that morning range, breaking and holding above that morning range. But besides that, I find it very difficult to find an entry in sort of a melt higher like yesterday.
Yeah, when it grinds up higher, as it's moving up, I'm in my head, I'm saying I can't chase this move. It's already up extended
Right.
and it hasn't pulled back yet. But in hindsight, those pullbacks were good opportunities. It didn't make sense, in my opinion, to long that. The volatility was super low
Yeah.
and chasing an extended move, this is why you like the break and retest. This is why I like pullbacks, is because it offers the best risk to reward. Buying a breakout above an all-time high or above a high a day in a market that's moving so slow is definitely not a higher probability setup, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, like any moment in time, you could get hit by one of those pullbacks that sort of just those the low liquidity pullbacks in the intraday that just
Exactly.
sort of smack you. So
It's
just
like the
so
way I
hard.
look at it, it's like you take the stairs up
Yeah.
and you get to the top, the elevator's taking you down. And that's like the fear in the back of my mind on days like that.
Yeah.
With the volume being so low, the elevator could come down very fast.
All right. Yeah, I mean the only two entries that I saw yesterday was that 64.60 pullback at the daily 20, which was incredible, and I'm sure there was some significant buying on the order flow there. But regardless, that was just a nice hold of the daily 20 and a key demand. That the only other trade was the ORB, so it was this opening range right here
Yeah.
at from like 9 from the open till around 10 o'clock, pretty much a 30-minute ORB and a really nice hold right there, just right above it. That was to me the only other entry of the day.
Yeah.
And if you didn't hold either of those, if you didn't enter either of those, it's like where the hell do you even take this long?
Exactly.
And I think that's a good point because I think a lot of people get caught like seeing, oh, it's 2 o'clock, we're still going higher. I'm just going to randomly take this entry point. But yesterday, in my opinion, there's only two entries. If you didn't take them, it's sort of done.
Yeah,
So
where you marked right there, it's going to play as a key level for me today
yeah.
because there was a significant, buyer, a passive buyer there, and I'll show everybody in my charts in a few minutes, but I think that's going to play an important role today is that level you just marked out there.
Hmm.
In hindsight, I mean, that would have been a great long opportunity yesterday, but in real time, I didn't put that connection together because I felt the market was a little extended intraday with the volatility we saw.
Yep. Cool. So today, now that we see that, obviously any pullback to the daily 20 in the future is going to be a great opportunity. Do we see that today? We'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens on data in about 15 minutes. But for me, I'm watching very closely this Friday high, um, and I keep forgetting. Carmine, do you remember what this Friday move was? Forgot what this Friday move was. Anyone remember what this move was on Friday? 10 o'clock. Must have been some kind of 10 o'clock data. But
Wouldn't
it
you?
was it
Would
was
that?
it was August 22nd. Does anyone have in the chat what happened that day? Was it anything
Second.
particular? 10 o'clock. What data do we have on that 10 o'clock? Let's see.
ISM?
Was it ISM? I'm surprised that the market moved that much off that. But something, I'll have to, if anyone in the chat knows, let us know. I should have looked at it before, so apologies. Um, was it Powell? 10, oh, is that Jackson Hole? Oh,
Oh,
that
that
was
was Jackson
Jackson
Hole.
Hole.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was
Oh,
Jackson
the
Hole.
old
Yep.
Jackson Hole.
Yeah.
Jackson Hole
The,
repository.
The
Fucking
sneaky Powell.
what a stupid name that is. The Jackson Hole Repository. So
Let's just pump some money into the market.
the hole, that's right, the hole. So on the whole day, we had the straight up move here on that Friday, and it sort of rejected right around 64.96, 6,500. And, I was talking to Carmine about this level earlier, and that was actually a spot that he had. So I think I think we're both in agreement that we are going to trade back to that area at some point, and I think we should wait for it to trade back to that area. Um, this major Friday high right here, looking for a pullback to, around these highs, around that high from last Friday, and then that is also, if you go into the 5-minute chart, that is also yesterday. You can see a very, very important area. Look at this right here. All right, look at how we had that 64.96 to 6,500 zone, and that's pretty much where we ended. And we had that 10-minute rig, the old 350 MOC, and that was just a straight up move off that 6,500. So for me, this is sort of hard to trust. I think you want to see a pullback to this move right here to 6,500, 64.96.
Mm.
Um, Udant, please don't spam the chat. I don't know. BLS, what is this? The BLS is experiencing technical difficulties ahead of the non-farm payrolls data. I guess I don't know, just see what happens on non-farm payrolls. So uh, that's going to be where I think you want to look for that pullback towards today. That's going to be that spot that I want to see get traded back to 6,500, back to 64.96. See if a long gets developed off that level. Before that, I would be sort of cautious in this sort of gap up here. The close of yesterday, where's the close? So the close of yesterday is, let's go to the daily chart real quick. Yesterday's close was 65.16. Sorry, that was a high. Let me get that back. Hold on.
I got the close at 60. I mean, I used 4 o'clock close. I don't use the
Yeah, what do you have it at?
like 65.11.
Yeah, 65.12, 65.11.
Yeah.
So you're right. Anything above 65.11, 65.12 is a gap up. Pull back to that area would be interesting. Um, and then you're very thin underneath 6508 towards that 6500, 6496. So for me, this is the safe spot. I think that's the spot I want to see get traded. Um, that would be really nice. Now, before that, there is 6508, which if I go to the 4-hour chart, 6508 is just this 4-hour high from
Yeah,
back
it's
on,
previous all-time highs
yeah,
too.
previous all-time highs, August 15th, 6508. So you might see something there at 6508. That was also, if I go to the hourly, you guys can see this major high right here, these highs around here, 6508. But for me, I really like this 6500, 6496 spot as a pullback long. So we shall see. The last thing I'll note here before I move it over to Carmine is you do have this wick high here from last Thursday at 65.23, which is the exact all-time high. And you can see we're sort of trapping around there this morning. All right, so if we see some weakness come in back under that 65.23, I think that's possibly, depending on the data, what could give you that move lower to 6,500, 64.96.
Yeah, I mean, look at every time the market broke above the all-time high. Every time before this, for the past what month or so,
Yeah,
every time it broke above it, it failed.
right. If you go to the 4 hour, it just sort of wicks back under. So pull back long, right? The moral of the story is question is pull back long in my eyes is the game plan. Where's the spot? I want to see 6,500, 64.96, and then I'm gonna let Carmine take over for potentially looking to fade it into that level, right? Possibly a game plan. Could be a little bit of a lower probability. Um, but yeah, let's go to Carmine's charts. And before we do that, we got to give a shout out to Umar. What's up, Umar?
Ours in the
In the
chat,
chat. Yeah. Long or short, ready to full port.
full port.
He's a poet and he doesn't even know it, man. That rhymes. Look
Listen,
at that.
Umar, whenever I'm ready to go long or short, I'm gonna let you know so you can
Yeah.
load up on the SPY options for me and then maybe, move the market.
Yeah,
But
maybe
besides your trade.
maybe we'll get a little commission off of it. All right, so let's go to Carmine's charts. Let me make sure everything is working. Okay, that was pretty seamless. All right, so now we got Carmine's charts up, and I'm gonna sit back and relax. Before we go, We need to press the like button. 2,700 people here, 800 likes. Carmine, don't even start until we get 1,000 likes. We just gotta,
Yeah.
we, we gotta get 1,000 likes here. So press the like button, subscribe to the channel. You got Umar in the chat. You got waiting on the text. There it is. All right. I guess you can go ahead, Carmine. Let's see what you got.
All right. So just looking at a higher time frame chart, obviously every time we broke above the all-time highs, it has failed. It hasn't sustained above it. I know Vince, you were watching this last week where it was kind of like you peeked your head above the all-time highs.
Yeah,
We
the trap.
failed at it,
That was a huge trap.
trapped at it. That's a very good sign of weakness. The issue is we lacked the downside continuation because the market put in a higher low at a level of demand, and now we're rallying back up ever since this Tuesday to a new all-time highs.
Hmm.
Now, trading all-time highs is tricky because it's hard to buy an all-time high breakout without a pullback. And it's also sometimes hard to get a pullback because sometimes the market just doesn't like pulling back. And by the time it pulls back, the selling's so aggressive, you don't want to catch the falling knife. So in my opinion, it's a tricky spot right now. And again, it's going to depend on that 830 NFP data to come out. But there's three main ways, and I'm gonna list the three main ways I look to trade all-time highs in order of significance of a probability scale. So number one is obviously just looking for, let me see if I could draw on my charts here. If the market does rally off NFP and we do move up without pulling back, there may be opportunities to then long a pullback into like a previous high, maybe long a pullback into VWAP. A good tip that I look out for is that when the market is supporting VWAP and VWAP is either angling up, in such case we are in the overnight session, or angling down after we support or resist it, VWAP to me becomes a very important level to watch once it's respected in this way. So if the market does like to rally and we do get a positive reaction off of it, I'd be looking for a pullback into this previous all-time high or into this VWAP to long a pullback.
Hmm.
There also may be opportunities where if the market rallies and consolidates, maybe it forms a low volume node on the rally, maybe it forms a new level of demand. That would be scenario number one. Scenario number two would be a little bit of a deeper pullback, like Vince said. For me, my pullback level today is going to be a little deeper than Vince's. However, I am still watching that 99, 96 level that he is watching. For me, my level is going to come around yesterday's consolidation range. I'm going to go to a smaller time frame chart so we can see it a little bit better. Um, Let me remove all this. Mine's going to come around to the 64.85s to 64.73s. This is yesterday's kind of mid-session consolidation range. And why this is significant to me is because number one, not only is it a period of consolidation, number two, it's a level of demand sitting at 64.83. And number three, if I were to pull up the order flow without confusing anybody, what we're going to see here is
You're gonna
in
have
this.
to let me know where your order. You're gonna have to put your order flow on the same where your chart is.
I'm going to, yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna.
Yeah.
So from around like call it 11-ish to about 1 o'clock-ish, this period of consolidation, there were signs of a passive buyer sitting here. So I'm gonna just highlight what I'm talking about. We could see 64.85, we could see 64.83, we could see it all the way down 64.80s. And then if I even to move this chart down a little bit more, we could see it down here to like the 75, 74s. And now what we're going to see here is a significant amount of selling volume around 12:30, a significant amount of red selling volume around 11:30, a significant amount of red selling volume around 11 o'clock, and just this general area. So what this tells me yesterday, significantly just off of the order flow, not even looking at a candlestick chart, is yesterday the market essentially rallied, right? Here's our morning rally. And then we consolidated here in the afternoon. This is this range that I'm talking about right now, this period of consolidation. And this got transacted again around 11-ish to about 1 o'clock-ish. During this period of consolidation, there was a sign of a passive buyer. What I mean by that is when the market lifted and rallied and then consolidated, this period of consolidation was transacted with a decent amount of selling volume, yet the market held this consolidation range and it basically consolidated even more before lifting and rallying and having continuation to the upside. So the question is, and the answer to the question, in fact, is the market basically moved up, paused, but on the pause of the rally, it basically had a significant amount of selling volume, but did not move down.
Yeah.
The fact that the market did not move down despite all of the selling volume indicates to me that because the market now rallied after it, there's a sign of a passive buyer sitting here. And let's call it like the 85s to 73s in this general area. A very good tip or something that I look for, and again, in hindsight, this could have been a good opportunity to long the market yesterday, is after the market rallies and we see a pullback or a period of consolidation. If this gets done on significant selling volume and the market does not sell off, in fact, we continue to consolidate and hold, this is a very bullish indication for more continuation. And we see that from yesterday. And this to me is a sign that of a passive buyer sitting there. So that's my level for a pullback. I know it's a little deeper than yours, Vince,
Yeah, but
but this would be
I actually have a spot that I can talk about that also lines up with that in a second when you're done.
yeah. So I mean, that would be a little bit of a deeper pullback that I would like to see. That would be my scenario number two is a little bit of a deeper pullback into the 99s, 96s. More importantly, these 85s to 73s.
Now the question here, Carmine, is if you do take that long, where's your target? Back to 96, 6,500?
So how I trade is depending on what price action does before is going to dictate my target because what I'm looking for is if we do pull back into this range,
Mm-hmm.
there's probably going to be something significant on the sell-off
Yep,
that I could place my target from.
got it.
I'm looking for the next quick move where the market could head. So if we start selling off, let's just say we see significant selling activity up here at like the 6500s.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm long at the 85s, I'd target those 6500s
All right.
if I saw some type of selling there. So it really
Yeah.
depends.
Yeah, so if you go over like moving over to here, like, because if for me, if I'm gonna take that long at the 60s, 64.75, 64.80, I would be cautious of this then turning into a failure, right?
For
Back
sure.
as you retrace into that
Yeah, so that would be a
previous,
great target for
right?
sure.
Yeah. And I
For
mean,
sure.
you could even look for that to be a nice short on a failure up here, seeing if the selling comes back in, right? At a rejection back under that low. Um,
Exactly.
and so that level you point out, now that I was sort of looking at my charts while you were doing it, around that 75-80 area, that's actually if you go back to Friday of last week, that was actually where we basically rejected all afternoon. So right here on Friday of last week, after
Right.
that drop, we basically got stuck underneath that 76 area all day,
Yeah.
right here. And then also, that was also this Thursday low. Look at this. Thursday low
Yeah.
around 80 to 75 right in here. And so that's basically the same spot that we consolidated on and above yesterday intraday. Look at that. That same
Yeah.
area.
There was a seller actually, now that I remember this, there was a seller there at the 73s. There's
Yeah.
actually significant volume there. So, I mean, it's just a level and a range that just keeps popping up in my charts. So I got to watch it.
All right. So that might be a nice spot to keep on your charts to see if a deeper pullback comes in. What happens in this area that Carmine has?
Exactly. So that was scenario number two. I mean, and
I'll
that's,
go back to your
number two in
charts.
my ranking in terms of significance. Now, scenario number three is, me and Vince are talking about a deeper pullback to long into.
Hmm.
Shorting all-time high, I rarely do. It's always a lower probability. It's always a lower quality because there's zero downside pressure built into the market. I have a two-step process shorting the all-time high. People that are in investor trade know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like letting sellers come in and then playing a retest or a defense mechanism of those sellers because when the market's making new highs, there's zero downside pressure. And the market's not going to move down when there's zero downside pressure or when there's zero bulls who are in trouble, basically.
Hmm.
But going to our point of waiting for a little bit of a deeper pullback, if we do get that pullback today, there may be an opportunity that there's a quick scalping momentum type of setup to the downside and capitalizing on a quick short setup. Now, the only level that I could come up with is like Vince's 65.08 and I have 65.10, 65.11, which represents yesterday's close.
Hmm.
It also represents pre-market low. There may be an opportunity if this level does break aggressively waiting for a breakdown, maybe a pop back up into it, a
Hmm.
retest to play short, targeting that 99, 96's level. I mean, it's a quick, we're talking 10, 12 points here, but there may be an opportunity. We have NFP coming out in 2 minutes. So, I mean, if it sells off, it's probably going to occur and it's going to occur without us. But that would be a scenario that I would watch is a break under 65.10, a wait to target the 99s, 96's. And then we could go from there, depending on what the market does, maybe even a little bit of a deeper one
Yeah.
into our level down here. But we got NFP coming out in about a minute, so it's kind of going to skew or it's going to help us determine what's going to happen here.
Yeah, and for me, what could be an interesting, looking at your chart, an interesting long for me would be the drop into the 64.99 and then a reclaim back over that 64.10,
Right.
65.10. That
Well,
could
that
be
would be very bullish in terms
yeah,
of a trend Okay, for
That
sure.
that would be a great if I go over to mine, like looking at something like this, if you do get that drop under that trade into that thin structure here, down into that 6,500, and then you get our what I like to coin it the reclaim ripper. So you reclaim back above, and then you see that move back higher, trapping these shorts here,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then putting them under pressure, resulting in that maybe all-time high breakout, which could be a
That's
nice
definitely a
trade.
possible scenario for like a trend. I
Yeah,
think that's a good point too, before we
I mean
get 30
that's
seconds
that's
to news.
exactly what happened yesterday, right?
Exactly.
So,
Just flipped.
all right.
The a point I want to make here, I know we got 20 seconds though,
Mm-hmm.
is I think it's important to know the setup you're taking before you open the trade. Like that would be a perfect opportunity for like a larger trend reversal
Right.
versus maybe a quick scalp that wouldn't play much significance in terms of the analysis. So it's important to know the trade you're looking to open before you open it based on the levels and based on the context. Well, let's see here, Vince. Vince, we
Okay.
got data coming out now.
Okay, just smacked that all-time high level and failed. 65.23 on the dot. Look at that. All right. This is actually, I think this is better that we're doing this
Yeah, this
personally.
definitely is better for sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't want this to just go straight up.
No.
So let's see how this 6,500, 64.96 defends because it's starting to defend already. Yeah, it's starting to, you can start to see that 6,500, 64.96 spot. What was that, 65.02? So we're gonna have to just let this. This is great because why this is great for us is we can now see what level defends, right? We can see, guys, and like it, this is something that's very important. Okay, when you look at that candle and you say, oh, it's tanking, that's not the right mindset, right? Oh my God, it's tanking. No, it's actually doing what you want it to do. It's giving you context. It's giving you opportunity. If it went straight up, then you got nothing, right? You go straight up off this chart, you
Yeah,
got
that would be the
you
worst
got
thing to
nothing to
happen.
play off of. You're just gonna maybe long a high a day hold or, break and retest of the highs, which is okay, but it's not with any previous, it's not testing any previous level. So let this pull back, find where the buyers are saying, no, no, like we're holding this, and then see if you can use that level as a structured place to trade off of, right? If we can
Exactly.
find where the buyers want to hold, which you can see we just reversed right off, I mean, look at this, right off 6,500. Now we know, hey, 6,500's a key spot, right? 64.96 area. Now we can actually trust this um, and use this as some type of a, let's say, a stop loss to a long side or even a potential short entry on a failure below it, right? So now we can use that to our advantage. We actually have some context to go off of. So now, right, you got a huge hold of that low, and now it looks like you're going to play in this range a little bit, which is
Yeah.
sort of treacherous. I'm going to put a level up at that 65.31 high just to make sure I have that marked out. And it almost
If
looks
this thing
like,
keeps moving up, it's going to definitely be a little difficult of a setup, I would say, without a pullback.
yeah, I mean, I would almost look at, I would sort of, I mean, I'll probably put this back on, but I'm going to delete that for now. And so for me, this is sort of a ranging move now between this 65.31 to this 6,500. You got a nice little range here to be cautious of.
Yeah.
And it's starting to look like you're going to have to trade a break and retest to 65.31 today. That's sort of what it's starting to look like. But maybe we get something clean set up off the previous all-time high, 65.23s, or the previous close. Yesterday's close would be the only other spot. Because now we're sort of far away from our, we're sort of
All right.
far away
Black
from our
levels.
6,500.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see, right? This is what we, this is what our experience and our understanding price action intraday. This is what's so important, and we'll be live with our groups later today. So if you guys are part of the groups, you'll be there, and we'll be trading live with you guys. So that's going to be very key. All right,
Yeah,
so
what's interesting
go
here
ahead.
too, Vince, I know you're going to get into the
No,
NASDAQ,
go
but
ahead.
the NASDAQ has been relatively weaker in terms of the market.
Yeah,
NASDAQ is pretty much holding up very well compared to the S&P.
yeah. I mean, it's still failing though in this supply, and I'll go over that now. So let's go over to the NQ. Let's go to the out. Let's go to the 4 hour. There's some little landmines to be careful of here on the NQ unless we can clear out this high. So if TOS will allow me to zoom in. Does this happen to you on TOS ever, Carmine?
No.
It just won't let you zoom in. Happens all the time. Maybe it's a Mac thing. So if you guys take a look at this NQ, right? Look at this little treacherous high over here. This is a little sketchy, right? Right there. This is back from this is July 31st. You got a huge rejection high, 23,845 to around, and then I have last week's highs, which is 23,808, 803. That was the high of the weekly candle of last week, right? So
That's
that's,
clean.
yeah, I mean, it's been a very, if you look at this chart and you look at the last week's range, which I've had on my charts all week, it's been a very, very important area. So you can see the market bounced off of last week's low, which is right in that our 23, 370, 300. And then we're trading back into and just broke above last week's high. So that's going to be interesting to me. You guys can see this wick high on the 4 hour at 845, and then you have this 4 hour high here, which is last week's high at 803. And so right now, if we look at the NASDAQ, we are trading above that 803, which was exactly where we failed prior to NFP, and you just squeezed above it. But look, you're still below that 845. So this is going to be a level that I'm going to want to see break. It looks like it's going for it, to be honest. It looks like it's just going to rip through it.
Yeah.
Um, but
I
definitely,
have nothing really above that, Vince. I mean, if
no,
it
there's
keeps
really
looking to hold
nothing. There's
that,
nothing major above it. I only have like when I put these lines without zones, they're sort of like minor spots for me.
yeah.
Um, but if I zoom out, let me go to the hourly chart, and all I have above this 845, guys, is some pivot points. So like this pivot here and this low from this is the Wednesday low right here. See this Wednesday low from August 13th? That's
Yeah.
886. The only other spot I have is these sort of triple top highs. So a little bit of a high here, high on Wednesday, high on Thursday, high on Friday, and that's at 970.
Vince, draw a downtrend line from the all-time high to where we hit last Thursday.
Let me zoom out.
That could be a potential back test, retest. It
Yeah,
might be level as well.
we're pretty far off of it now. Talking about like this line right here.
From all-time high, and then you draw your second point from last Thursday, the 28th.
Oh, you're talking here.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, that would be a great pullback long into our daily 20, which is, I mean, this, in my eyes, maybe not today, right? But the best long on this market is a pullback into this zone. There's no
for sure.
question. There's no question about it. That's 100% the best long. However, I don't know if you're going to get that today. All right. That though is the best pullback because we just went straight up through this zone, previous major highs, previous major highs, or lows there. This is the best long, something like this. And that would actually be a retest of that trend line as well, Carmine, like you said,
Yeah, yeah,
which
yeah.
would be a beautiful opportunity right around here. So do you get that? I don't know, but that is a beautiful spot, and that is a zone that I have. Also the daily 20. So that would be really nice. That's very similar to what we got last Monday, if you guys remember, the 6430 spot, which was just incredible last week. We were talking on Sunday of last week that we had straight up on Friday. Where's the best long? The best long is a pullback to previous structure. That was 6430 and the daily 20. Look at how that created itself. So sometimes you want to wait a little bit, right? It took a few days, and it still could take a few days to get the best pullback on the NASDAQ. We'll see if we get it. I don't know. But this would be the great
That would
pullback
be
to look
nice.
for.
I like your 2386 level a lot.
Yeah, that's it's a little sketchy up there. Uh,
Could
it,
today be the day the NASDAQ makes an all-time high?
I mean, if you defend over 845, I don't see why you wouldn't, personally. If you defend over this 4 hour high back here, I mean, there's this up here probably doesn't stop it, unless and then I guess we could sort of talk about the most bearish thing to look for. The most bearish thing the market could do today is to squeeze above this 886 high and then a failure back under it by end of
Oh
day.
yeah. Oh yeah.
That would be nasty stuff.
Oh yeah. I'm
That
actually gonna set an alert up there.
that would set a nice little bull trap that would definitely and guys, that would give you this pullback, right? That would give you this pullback. If you get that squeeze above, failure back under, that's when you get your retracement back to the daily 20. And maybe that, maybe there's definitely going to be a short opportunity during that, but that likely creates the best re-entry long, right, on a pullback opportunity. So just it's day by day, right? It's like, this is a 4 hour, so these ideas can take multiple days or weeks to develop. You just have to understand where you are on a day by day basis. I think,
All right.
as you know, Carmine, I think one of the biggest pain points for a lot of traders is losing sight of the longer term, and knowing how to, manage short-term analysis and long-term analysis, right? Like you get so much tunnel vision on the intraday, and some people will be so aggressive to short. Look at this 845 level. I mean, on the
When in
dot.
doubt, zoom out.
Yeah, so like a lot of traders, let's say, will like really short the shit out of this pullback, and then they'll forget that they're coming right back into that daily 20, and they'll swing QQQ puts overnight or something,
Yeah.
and then they'll be like, holy shit, how does why is the market straight up off this demand? Well, it's because you just pulled back right to the perfect pullback zone, but you got tunnel vision, getting too stuck on the short term.
Right.
And that is a beautiful failure of our 845 level on the, I mean, just perfect.
Yeah.
What's the
Yes,
what's
that's
the ES rejecting?
all-time high fail. 31
Yeah, 31.
so far.
Yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be an interesting day, isn't it?
Listen, all I'm going to say is that everybody's going to be very antsy to jump the gun today on
Yeah,
both the long and the short
and
side.
it's Friday, so it's gonna be emotional.
It's everybody, like I even feel it myself, truthfully. Like you're going to
Yeah,
be very antsy to trade this. We're at all-time high. We have this NFP data. We have all these levels that we're watching, and the bell's going to ring, and we see the market moving, and we're going to be antsy to click the buy or sell button.
yeah. I
I can
mean,
say with confidence, it's not the right way to trade.
I was antsy to trade yesterday. Took a loss on Tesla early on. Had to battle back all day.
Yeah.
Took a lot of mental fortitude to come back on that day, which I did end up doing. But it was, I mean, I maybe 5 years older yesterday. I was probably about 45 years old yesterday. So it was tough. So I mean, I'd like to just have a little bit of patience today, right, on this beautiful Friday. Don't wreck your weekend, is what we always say. Yeah, Nate, agreed. Don't ruin your weekend, right? The market's going to be here Monday. If today's really tricky, which it might be, because there's going to be a lot of eyes on these levels, it might be right to wait for something a little bit more clear.
Best setup today is going to be waiting for a pullback. Is
Yeah,
do you have the discipline to wait for a pullback? Do
right.
you have the discipline to maybe miss a move if we don't get a pullback?
Hmm.
You have the discipline that if we get a pullback and you don't see a long, to not take the setup.
Yep. Yeah.
It's all about discipline today.
Yep. Totally. All right. So I'm gonna skip the SPY and Qs because I think the ES and NQ is enough information here. 45, that's young. Let's get into some equities that I'm watching. The first one I'm actually going to talk about is Netflix. The reason for it is yesterday was an insane daily chart, and we talked about this on the live stream yesterday. We talked about time correction, and I don't know if you do much of that, Carmine, with time correction versus price correction, but this is a perfect example of a time correction on Netflix. So the last time Netflix, this is a price correction here, this is a time correction. And the reason I say that is because both of those situations came back into the 100 moving average, the daily 100. So you have an extension on Netflix, you move lower into the daily 100, right? And that creates a beautiful long. Now this time you don't so much pull back aggressively back into the 100, you actually just consolidate and allow the 100 to catch up to price action, right? So that's a time correction. And yesterday, we can see the last 3 days a beautiful long off of that daily 100 and that 1200 level. Really nice trade yesterday. Now, what I'm interested in here today is the fact that yesterday Netflix engulfed all of this price action. So pretty much everything from August 8th, we've engulfed all of this consolidation. And the key today for me is, do we hold above these daily highs right here? Those daily highs, some of these daily lows and highs over here, can we get a hold above that 1245, 1250 area? That's going to be a very big watch for me today. Can we see buyers defend this zone like they did yesterday? If it can, I would really be interested in seeing if there's continuation on Netflix. Now, one thing I will say, Netflix is like trading in a dark alley, man. I mean, Netflix is a scary stock to trade on the options, especially. So just please be cautious trading Netflix. It's definitely not a beginner thing to trade. The option contracts are very, very large spreads. One candle can make or break your whole trade. So a little bit tough to trade this one, but it is a very, very nice hold. I'm going to be watching that very closely today. We do have some rejections up at this 4-hour high at 1262, so a little bit cautious there. But that's definitely a watch that I have today on Netflix. Tesla. Uh, I know Carmine likes Tesla, so I figured let's go ahead and talk about Tesla. Tesla's been very interesting in terms of this, it's sort of been doing the same thing on the daily chart for a very long time. It expands, it contracts, it expands, it contracts, and it's sort of doing the same sort of, normal stock price movement, right? Pull back longs, sort of grinding higher, and you have these SMAs just supporting price action. So the 50, the 20, the 200 SMA just holding price action here, and it looks like it's trying to do the same thing again here. So this is interesting here today. Um, you had some news this morning about pay plans for Elon Musk proposes a pay package worth as much as 1 trillion over a decade. Wow. Okay. So, yeah, that's a big pay plan for Elon. Market seems to, or the stock seems to be reacting positively to it. And there's one setup that I'm watching today, and that is a break and retest of this Wednesday high. That's going to be a really key watch for me today. If we can hold above this Wednesday high right here, which you can see Tesla's doing a fantastic job of as we speak, if that can create a long opportunity, I would look for a long up into that 348, 350 high. That's the high from
That also
Friday.
aligns with last Thursday too. Last Thursday's low
Last
around.
Thursday's low. Let's take a look. Last Thursday. Yeah, so back over, yeah, right in these lows right here. So you have this Monday, Tuesday low, you have this Thursday and a little trap low right there, and it failed on Friday, which created that major downside. You also have this high from 2 Fridays ago here, and you can see that is Wednesday's high as well. So that could be a nice little hold there on Tesla to create, right, that second structure higher, right, that bullish structure. So this is going to be something I'm very closely watching today. Can we hold above this Wednesday high? Does it turn into new lows? If so, give me that upside towards 348, 350. If you can get over 350, you guys know that's a huge break on Tesla. Going out on the, we'll go out to the 4 hour chart. 350 is a major spot. So if we go to the 4 hour, I know it's a little bit hard to see, but right here, these major highs, 350, that is going to be a huge spot to be watching today. Could be a major rejection as well, right? Could be a nasty rejection, so you got to be careful up there. Um, Amazon has been a very strong outperformer. So keeping eyes on this one today. You did hit up into a supply level today at this 4 hour high at 236, so a little bit careful there. There is a nice retest level that I'm watching, and that is back to this 232 area. So if I go to the hourly chart, looking at this, you can see we have very nice previous highs here, and so I'm going to look to see if Amazon can give us a nice clean pullback today, retrace back to that level, and then create that new long. For you guys that sort of watch the fibs, right, that's a nice little 50% retracement on the fibs. I like that area to give, a pullback long on Amazon today. The key is patience to allow it to pull back. So going to be watching there, seeing if we can get that retracement on Amazon back to that level. The next one that I think everyone should keep on their charts, guys, and this could be a very big opportunity, is Microsoft. Microsoft has been dead quiet. It has not moved higher with the market, but it has failed to move lower, and it's consolidating very nicely here over the last 2 weeks, above 500 but below 511. And you can see this is a nice range, and you guys know when stocks get out of these ranges, they expand, right? And so not sure if it's up or down, but with the market at all-time highs, I want to say it's up. If Microsoft can get over this 511 and these daily lows, this daily high, right? Check out these daily highs right here on the daily. Look at this. Rejection, rejection, rejection. So if Microsoft can clear that out, hold above that, maybe this today or next week, this is absolutely something you should keep on your charts on a little hold above 511. If we go out to the weekly, we can see this is not quite the retest that you want, right? I really think that this is the best retest back at 468. That's probably the best trade if we can get that. But let's see how Microsoft responds to this 511 spot and this daily 20. That's a big one as well. Um, Something I want to point out real quick, the SMH. SMH is very important today in my mind. Can the SMH reclaim the daily 20? That's going to be very important for me. 293, 293.50. Can we reclaim the daily 20 on SMH? Broadcom probably helping the case. This is insane. Insane. You guys know that we are very bullish on Broadcom on this live stream. This is, to me, the best stock on the stock market. Shout out Piff. Uh, Piff, me, and it's an inside joke. Um, what a monster. I mean, really no words. This is not a trade for me today. All I have to say is congratulations to you guys that held this in your long term because this is an incredible stock. I mean, there's really the only trade I would look for is a pullback to 320. Besides that, it's just gonna
Wow. It's
go.
crazy.
Yeah, it's a nuts stock. So the thing I wanted to point out though, which is very strange today, is you're getting extreme weakness on Nvidia and AMD, which is really weird, and could be actually a really nice short side, or it's a huge trap. I don't know yet, but there is something strange going on here on AMD and Nvidia. They are extremely weak this morning, with Broadcom going. I mean, it's still going up. Broadcom. It has not stopped. It's still making new highs as we speak, which is wild. So I don't know if this is a sign that Broadcom is taking the lunch of other semis, which is very possible. But there is something wrong here on AMD and Nvidia. And if Nvidia breaks this daily low, you guys can see right here, you have these major daily lows right here that I've been sort of watching around this 168.80. I mean, if there continues to be a underperformance here on these names, there could be a short side watch today. If the market also flips, right, and semis flip as well, this could be
Yeah.
something to watch. So interesting there. AMD also a very weak name here. You can see 156.50 right here. And possibly it's, if correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I think in my mind it could be possibly that Broadcom is U.S. based, and I don't know how much exposure. I don't know this information, so I don't want to talk too much about it. But they don't. I wonder if they have less exposure to foreign countries if it's more U.S. based, because I know Broadcom is. But maybe that's why, because of the Trump news last night about the tariffs on chips, and I'm sure maybe Broadcom is less affected by it because of its U.S. footprint. Maybe I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. But that's sort of something in my mind. Maybe a little bit of a reason for it, but could be wrong there.
Downgrade on Nvidia. I mean
Yeah,
on AMD.
downgrade on AMD.
Um, that AMD and Nvidia looks very nice if the S&P and the NASDAQ could roll over.
Yeah, if they roll over, they would be underperformers already. So if they roll over, they should continue to underperform. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if we're rolling over right now, are we?
Nope. New
Yeah,
highs.
look at that. So we just held last week's low on NASDAQ. What did we hold on the ES?
Vince, I think your 80 level, 23,886
Yeah,
maybe important today.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that is
I
the
actually like that better than the ES, which is strange for me to say.
maybe the Carmine's going to trade the NQ today for the first time ever. Um, yeah, I mean that is a major previous low here on that Wednesday. And so that is going to definitely come into play. What happens at that 886 will be important. The thing that I think is key today, Carmine, and I think you would agree, is that the ES is not going to have any levels above, but the NASDAQ will,
Yeah.
right? So there's a chance that NASDAQ levels are important to watch today because if a NASDAQ hits a key level and rejects, that could influence the market, right? Would you agree?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So something to watch there.
Would it be wild to say that we see a NASDAQ all-time high today
Probably not. I mean, what is? I mean, I can't really.
and the
I
ES goes
don't
parabolic?
think there's anything wild when it comes to the stock market.
Or is NQ going to be a meme coin today?
I mean, you got another basically another percent to all-time highs, just about
It's
point
nothing.
0.9. Yeah, I mean that could happen in the first minute. So yeah, I mean, not impossible. Nothing's impossible in the stock market. I think that's very important to remember. Nothing is impossible, and I mean, what a hold though of that 6,500. So that's going to look super strong on an hourly chart, right? Look at that wick off 65 on the ES. So really important there. I think that's. I mean, there's plenty more setups, but for because of timing, I'm not going to go through all of them. Anything else, Carmen? I'm going to give you over to the charts. I mean, if anything else you wanted to
I
go over.
mean, we hit the ES, the NASDAQ.
Yeah,
Uh, I mean, the ES is just this is our worst case scenario that we said earlier is like new all-time highs. It's you can't long a breakout above an all-time high.
yeah.
It's just very difficult to do so.
So I mean, pullbacks now are just going to be 64.31 all-time highs. The six, yeah, which is it's not going to be very easy to trust that 65.31 level. That's going to be a hard level to trust.
Yeah, and for anybody that watches the VIX, I think if anybody looks for a short setup today, which I'm not at this point, You'd want to see the VIX back above the 1660s, 1680s, this previous range from last week
Hmm.
on the VIX.
Okay. Yeah, if it reclaims those lows.
A reclaim of that would be not the most bullish thing on ES.
All right. Okay.
Uh, just something to keep an eye on. I'm going to set alerts here today if this could move back into the range. But other than that, I mean, ES and NASDAQ are making new highs.
Yeah.
NASDAQ is going right for that 80 level you talked about.
Yeah.
I
That's gonna
mean,
be
my
an
alert is
interesting
going to
spot.
trigger right now on NQ.
Huh. All right. So what I'm gonna do real quick, guys, is I know we have our giveaway, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick. Carmine can just hang out for a little bit. We'll run this giveaway real quick. Hey, Boogie, we got to fly today with Desi looking like a pilot. Appreciate that, Boogie. Yeah, I got the pilot headphone on, headset on. All right, so hold on. I'm gonna pull our attendance form real quick, guys. Make sure to press that like button before you head out. Subscribe to the channel. We got 3,000 people here. Let's try to get can we get a like for every single person? That would be incredible, wouldn't it be? Hold on. So filtering from Monday to today. So we're going to filter that. Let's download this information. Filtered responses. Okay. We're going to go over to our Grok. We're going to upload that file.
What do? You take the attendance of people that join?
Yeah, so basically I got a file. I got, a type form that people they say they showed up, right, and answered a few questions, and then we go here and say, please pick one winner from this form. Provide their first and last. And I usually dox people because I give their last name. So I'm gonna go first and last name initial, and then hopefully I'll be able to find that.
What are you giving away? A
Uh,
Tesla or something?
Yeah,
Brand
I
new
give
car?
away a Model 3. No, I give away some merch. Hopefully one day we'll do more. J Rigby. J Rigby. That is that is the winner today. Let me make sure I can find that. So 1 second. I'm gonna make sure I have that on the form. Okay, I got it. Jay Rigby, I got you. I don't know if he's here. If you are, you're the winner. I'm gonna shoot you a link for a nice little Options Insider hat and T-shirt, and hopefully in the future we'll do better giveaways. But you mean Jay Douglas? No. Oh, that's you. Ray Trades, is that you? Nah, that can't be. Is it? Maybe. Oh, I'll shoot you an email anyway. I got your email here. I'll shoot you an email with the link.
Chef Joe.
There's Chef Joe. Yeah. There's Vinny Rucco. We got some Italians in the chat. Margin.
I think that's Chef Joe that won.
It is Chef. Oh, you think that's Chef Joe that one? Chef. Yeah, maybe. Well, when we go to the restaurant, we'll get something for Chef. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed the live stream today. We're gonna go head over to our groups. We're gonna continue the party over there. Gonna be trading live all day with Carmine today. Something we want to do in the future. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you enjoyed the live stream. We're gonna be continuing to try to work together and provide value to you guys. So, any last words, Carmine, for the chat?
Just be very, very disciplined today. Sometimes no trade's the best trade. Stay patient, wait for a setup. Only click the buy or sell button when you see a setup based off of your system. Crucial point there.
Awesome. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Press the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to Carmine's channel. Carmine Rosato. His full name is his channel. And I will talk to you guys next week. Have a great weekend. Peace.
Later.